Hello everybody, welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's been a while since I last uploaded, but it's been for a good reason. The last 8 months have been crazy and I've been trying to get a house and I finally was able to get one. So here we are. We got two things to celebrate in this video. One is obviously getting a house. This is the new headquarters and where we'll be doing a lot of YouTube videos now. And then the second thing is to actually celebrate 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy to me. I always thought it was a long way away for my YouTube channel to get 1,000 subscribers, but here we are. So to celebrate, we're gonna do a video that's a little bit different. This video, we're actually gonna be going back in time and looking at all the, in my opinion, coolest video clips of the Toyota Celica. These are videos that inspired me throughout the years, videos that I found interesting, and then which would later on influence me to get my Toyota JZX, my 240, get into drifting, turbo my old Celica, all this other stuff. And then for anyone wondering, my Celica, my new one, the blue one that I have now, it's actually downstairs. This is the bonus room and it's right over the garage. But that Celica is right now in a million pieces. You kind of go down the rabbit hole of, hey, I gotta fix this one thing, and you find out there's a couple more things you need to fix. That's for another video. This video, we're just gonna go back and just have a good time. So let's get started. This first video clip is probably one of the craziest ones that blew my 16-year-old mind when I first watched it. I think a lot of people have probably seen this video, but it's one of the, in my opinion, one of the first videos that I think about when I think about Turbo Celica. The car that's driving is actually flooring it right now. It's a stock Celica. Oh man, that noise it makes, it blows my mind. I'm pretty sure it's a 1ZZ that's in that black one that blew by him. And yeah, you can see how fast this guy was actually going. But yeah, that video clip always blows my mind. That was the first one that really showed me how fast a Celica could be in a straight line. Now I know nowadays straight line speed isn't really all that. It's more about the experience. But back then when you're 16, 17, 18, you don't really know much more than that. But yeah, like I said, that video, in my opinion, is one of the first things to really impress people with the Celica. Just that one, hearing the wastegate scream as it blows by you, crazy. I love that video. I love that video. But switching gears to the next one, this is another famous video. This is the Fensport Celica. It's driven at the Goodwood festival, where they have a bunch of different cars and they do time trials through the famous course of Goodwood. This was another one of the first Celicos where I was like, dang, this is actually a really good track car. I remember seeing this when I was again, maybe 16, 15 years old, and just seeing how fast this thing is going. It wasn't until maybe a couple years later that I found out that it wasn't a 2ZZ in there. These guys completely re-engineered this car. It's all-wheel drive. It has the 3GS TE that came out of the original Celica, or a couple generations ago. That one that was really famous for rally. I'll put up some screenshots that they have of this car and all basically their build. It's essentially a 3G STE with a shell, the 7th generation Celica on top of it. Go through the photos and just it's a crazy piece of engineering that they did with this car. And don't forget, this is back 12 years ago when I saw this, and a lot of this information just wasn't available. So seeing any type of Celica that was different than stock was always mind-blowing. This is the one that actually really surprised me growing up. I was looking around for turbo kits for the Celica, and just hearing this thing for the first time blew me away. Yeah, this is a actual 2ZZ turbo from what I remember now. 2ZZ turbo with their turbo kit, the turbokits.com turbo kit. And I remember being in college, just searching, my freshman year of college, searching the forums every single day, waiting for someone to post turbo parts. And then one day, someone posted a full turbokits.com turbo kit. It was for $1,000. Turbo, intercooler, the AEM FIC, injectors, everything. The downpipe, the only thing I needed was an exhaust. Later on, I needed to change the clutch and the flywheel, but that's besides the point. I got that whole kit for $1,000 and it blew me away. A funny story now. It's okay now because I graduated college. But funny story with that whole turbo kit, I actually got some grant money for like buying books and stuff, and I used, but I was able to find the books online. So what I ended up doing was I just used the grant money to buy the turbo kit. Yeah, it's okay. I passed my freshman year with no problem. I'm an engineer now, so it all worked out. This next clip, a lot of people wish the Celica did come in rear-wheel drive, and this was probably one of the first examples that I ever saw of a rear-wheel drive Toyota Celica, and this guy put a 2JZ in it. This guy's really well known in the forums and community. He's been doing this stuff to Celicas for a long time. But like what I remember when I first saw this, it blew me away. Now I know, my 15, 16-year-old self, when I first saw that video, I was like, oh, it's gotta be like easy if this guy figured it out. Nowadays, I know all of the work that goes into rear-wheel drive swapping something like that. But to see that in like, gosh, I forget when that video was uploaded, maybe in 2016, 2017, blew me away. Because again, like a lot of the stuff, the information was kind of out there, and the Celica being a little bit more niche and not having too much support and always being a little underrated always made stuff super difficult to find. And just, yeah. This next video is actually one I discovered pretty recently, maybe 2-3 years ago. I discovered the Celica, but this video has been online for quite a while, and it's just a guy in Japan that got the 2ZZ and rotated it and made it rear-wheel drive, and here he is drifting it. Another one that blew me away like 2-3 years later, 2 to 3 years ago. I don't know how I never saw this video until recently, but yeah, someone over there in Japan got the 2ZZ, rotated it 90 degrees, and made it rear-wheel drive. He has a whole build log on like a website, and he shows you exactly what he did, where the parts came from. Some stuff doesn't exist here, so like for example, the transmission he used, it was from it was a car they made only in Japan, and it doesn't exist here. So things like that you still have to piece together, but either way, incredible footage to watch that. This next clip, I used to watch these videos all the time growing up because the Celica has a really narrow window of when you're in lift, and it's like between 6,000 to 8,200 RPMs. And I would always watch videos of guys driving it, either launching it or just driving it, to see how they would shift, like how fast they would shift, how it's supposed to be driven, how long the car can stay in lift. I would watch dozens of these videos all the time. I remember this one in particular. But yeah, like I said, the Celica was never meant to be a fast car. It was supposed to be a really enjoyable car. And you pair it with the 2ZZ, that just sounds incredible. Huge, lots of miles per gallon with that car. And then whenever I turbocharged it, it just took that car to the next level for me. I just really wish I had more time with my turbo one. Knowing what I know now, I could have made it, I could have done the swap way better, made it way more reliable. But I mean, that's just life. Yeah, I was at a crossroads with that car, and I really wanted to get into drifting. But here we are. I learned so much more going down the rabbit hole of drifting that I probably would have done if I would have stuck with that car for a bit longer. So it all worked out. All right, these next videos are from the Japanese touring car videos. It could be from Best Motoring, Hot Version. And this one in particular, I like this one because they show two Celicas kind of starting in the front. And I won't spoil too much, but the racing gets really interesting towards the middle of it. I'll link this video in the description as well as all the other videos that I talked about in this video, just so anyone can just go and watch them. But yeah, as you can see, there's a bunch of classic cars in here. So here's another old Japanese video that I've discovered recently. I had to do some crazy digging to find this car, to find this video. It used to be on the GT channel, where they post a bunch of GT racing, and they privated the video. So I had to go back into the web archive, web history website, find it, download the video, and uncompress it so I could watch it again. Because I remember seeing this video a long time ago, and I tried searching for it, I couldn't find it. Then I found out that the video was privated. So yeah, now I saved it. This one might be harder for me to link it. I'm pretty sure they removed it because of copyright claims. And I'll only be showing snippets here and there, so then I don't get copyright. But this one, if you go into the web history, web archive website and go back to like February, you can watch it on there. What's cool about this one is that Tsuchiya is driving this this Celica, and he started off with complimenting it. He's like, "This feels really great. It's it's exceptionally nice," to quote him. Their biggest complaint from the Celica was that it wasn't low enough, so it had a lot of like suspension travel. The builder of this car kind of said, well, it's more of a street-focused car, so that's why it's a little bit lifted up. And they go, okay, well, maybe to compete later on, you can lower it and give it a bit more suspension. But yeah, overall, they liked this video. They liked this Celica, and I just remember being super hyped that the AE86 guy loved the Celica, along with some other of these famous drivers. These videos are more on the technical side. Once I started to get a little bit older, maybe around 17, 18, I started to dig around these videos, but a lot of concepts just went over my head. Now that I have way more experience with cars and what goes into building an engine, I can appreciate these technical videos way more. Even nowadays, I'm always learning something new. That's kind of why I just love tinkering around with cars. The Celica, I had to drop the current one that's downstairs. I had to drop the subframe on it, the rear. Maybe subframe is not the right term. Maybe like the rear cradle or whatever it's called. But I didn't look up a video or anything for it. I just kind of looked at it and I just dropped the subframe. But I've dropped the subframe on every single car that I've had at this point. On my 350Z, my 240, my JZX. All those cars I've had to drop the subframe in it. And I guess it's just training after a while. Everything kind of bolts up and looks the same. But and then same thing like engine wise, like I'm not afraid anymore to like lift up the valve covers. I'm not afraid to pull an engine out of a car if I have to, things of that nature. But when I first started messing around with the Celica, I was terrified of doing any of that sort of thing. I just remember when I first started turbocharging the Celica and I couldn't get the exhaust manifold bolt off, and I was starting to have second doubts on what I was doing. But I just realized like I'm already like so far into this. And again, there wasn't a whole lot of build series on the Celica on YouTube at the time. I was probably one of the first people that made as detailed as I could of a like part one. I uninstalled the exhaust on the Celica, and that's still on my YouTube channel. But back then, I only had the manual of the turbo kit package that I got with the turbo kit, and it was just black and white pictures of like step 1, disconnect your exhaust. Step 2. Let's replace the fuel injectors. But nowadays, it's just a lot of stuff is so well documented, especially in the 240 world. The 240 world is crazy documented. You should not have any issues finding information for like a 240. JZX, on the other hand, it's a bit harder to find maybe wiring specific things for that car, just because we never got those here. Luckily, 1JZs and 2JZs are pretty much figured out because of the 2ZZ being the 2JZ being available here in the United States in the Supras and the IS300s and those type of cars. But yeah, these technical videos, when I first saw them, a lot of concepts went over my head. But now when I go back and rewatch some of them, I can really appreciate like the effort and level that went into this. For anyone that wants to understand the 2ZZ engine better, I highly recommend these videos. Really give a very good beginner's explanation to the 2ZZ and why it differs from Honda's lineup and offering of the VTEC. And also it's kind of cool seeing the history behind it, because Lotus at one point took the 2ZZ and they wanted to do a bunch of cool stuff with it. They put a supercharger on it. They put it in the rear-wheel drive, kind of like an MR2 of the Lotus Elise. Bunch of cool stuff. Like I said, I highly recommend watching these two technical videos. Lots of good information in there. Covers the Celica, the history of the 2ZZ. Yeah, just lots of good stuff. All right, and looks like that's all the videos I had for today. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any videos that inspired you to either buy a Celica or maybe fall in love with a Celica like these videos did to me all those years ago. If I could go back in time, I would try and find a way to keep my turbo Celica. Luckily nowadays I have enough know-how and knowledge to where I could probably do the swap relatively cheaply, but it's just hard balancing all that stuff. Like I still have the 240, I have the JZX. It's hard to balance, like financials and all that stuff when, you're just a normal guy trying to have fun with these cars. especially when you grow up watching, playing Need for Speed Underground, Midnight Club, watching all the old JDM videos. Hopefully you guys had a little bit of a nostalgia trip with me. I always come back to these videos every now and again, and it's always fun watching them. Because when I first saw them, like I said, I was maybe 16, 17 years old, 15 maybe. I was learning about cars. The Celica was my first car that I had in high school. Just trying to see what all the car world had to offer. And just over the years, I've gained so much knowledge. I've met so many cool people. Some people have helped me with my builds. I've helped a lot of people with their builds. And then a lot of those people have become my friends. That's why I've been doing cars now for about 10 years, almost a decade. I really started working on the Celica when I was 18, and I'm 28 now. So 10 years, I've had a bunch of different cars, different experiences with them, try to do everything as best as I could. But keep an eye out on the next video. We're gonna go and fix the Celica. Like I said, right now it's in a million pieces downstairs. We had to fix a bunch of stuff that was wrong with it. But yeah, thanks again everyone, and thank you again for 1,000 subscribers. I can't wait to keep pushing the YouTube and more now that I have a central location where all my stuff is, and I can record and do all this stuff easier without having to travel as much. All right, guys, we'll see you later. Little bonus video for the guys that stuck to the end. There's a little surprise hidden down there. Not sure if you guys saw her in the background of the video, but she's been sleeping. That's my assistant. Hi, Holly. It's my girlfriend's and I cat. She was making sure I was kept on track in the video. All right then, we'll see you guys around.